My few second review of Code Vein 2 is this. If you love the first game, especially the build crafting and the I-Core management, you will enjoy this game. If you did not like the first game and you get annoyed by low frame rates and classic poor Unreal Engine performance, you might want to tread carefully with this one. For this review, I'm going to split it up into 3 parts: positives, neutrals, and negatives. I like to look on the bright side, so positives first. Code Vein 2 is a proper iteration in the series. There are some great additions and adjustments, without gutting the core concepts that made Code Vein what it was. This looks better, feels better, has more refined combat, and a greater enemy variety, with even more creativity in their designs. When talking about creative enemy designs, I only need to show footage of the cat mech. I've heard many people call the first game's combat clunky. While I don't agree, this game's combat is much more fluid. The enemies and player both feel a bit faster. Unlike Code Vein 1, I found myself mixing in spells, heavy attacks, light attacks, drain attacks, and jump attacks, which are now part of the game, adding that third dimension to the battlefield. Even smaller aspects, such as the training area and weapon enhancements, have been improved. I still give Code Vein credit to this day for having one of, if not the first, training area in the genre. This is an open world game, which is obviously inspired by Elden Ring. You have fast travel points on the minimap, a mount to traverse the world faster, optional dungeons all around, and merchants scattered about the land with unique inventories. Code Vein 2 is to Elden Ring what Code Vein 1 is to Dark Souls 1. And yet this game feels much more unique than its predecessor. After over 6 years since the first entry, and some changes to how you make builds, this series has solidified itself as the magic casting Souls-like. Spell usage is never quite the main focus in this genre. Here, it is the whole game. If you are not frequently using the Forme, you are missing out. I can expand on this greatly, and I will in next week's video, after I have had much more time with the game and the build crafting. But I will mention this much now. You have access to even more spells than before, with up to 4 Forme on either weapon, and a slotted offensive and defensive Forme, bringing the total up to 10 spells that can be casted at any time. Everyone knew Code Vein for its character creator. I am happy to report it is even better than the last time. All of the clothing and accessory options from the first game are present, and then some. One thing I didn't like about the first game is the limited number of outfits that were available. The selection has more than doubled, and if you paid for a more expensive edition, you will have access to all the partner outfits from the first game as well. Neutral. I want to mention the story here. I'm enjoying the writing more this time around. The story is told less through the memory sequences and more through actions you take in reality. Although the memory sequences do return, you don't need to skip or walk through them to unlock half the spells in the game, and it uses the same music as before. That made me so happy. I have developed some inscrutable psychological need to hear this music every once in a while. This need is by no means a healthy one, and has been enforced upon me by the forces which govern the universe, or by my own free will, or both through sheer repetition. Moving on. The story of the game will start you out on a tutorial island. This denies you the open world access seen in Elden Ring and New Vegas. I made it to the mainland after about 4 hours of gameplay, and that included lots, like roaming around the open world, side dungeons, dialogue, time in the character creator, and investigating every thingamabob and doohickey in the hub area. I would be surprised if this took more than an hour, if not less, on a repeat playthrough, but it's still something that's on my mind, and I have to replay the game to find out. I was gonna put this next one in negative, but it may be a skill issue on my part. There was a character creator demo, released a couple days before launch, that allowed you to customize a character before game launch, so you could hop right in. I made 3 different saves, which I'm not sure you were supposed to do, as only one of them came to the full game. Apologies to John Code, my returning character from the previous installment, for this first playthrough has been euchred from him. If you think my character in a few clips looks like a certain vampire from Overlord, that is because she is the customization that carried through. Negatives. The performance is not good. I've yet to have a crash or have the frame rate get me damaged in a fight, but it is hard not to notice. Even rolling into crates can drag your FPS down. There was one attack that I'll have to put on screen here from an early game boss that caused a monstrous dip. Every time he used this attack, it had me moving like claymation. Like I mentioned in the intro, if you can't stand these issues, you may want to wait for a patch or skip out on this game. This is the only big gripe I have with the game, but it is important to highlight. I'm playing on a base PS5, so if you're playing on a different console or on PC, you may have entirely different results. Code Vein 2 is single player only. This genre is headed in the direction of a greater multiplayer focus. From released Night Rain and games like Lords of the Fallen or Remnant 2 have full, continuous co-op. Now, the first game had the most basic of online features. Summon a player, beat the boss, then player goes home. I won't be missing the feature much, but it's strange not to have it. There was one instance where a field boss did not have sound. It was really strange. This only happened once, and admittedly was not good for immersion. The side dungeon bosses seem to be mostly refights, which isn't great, but is another connection this game has with Elden Ring. Now for the final gripe, allow me to dive into the Picayune. Only photo mode fiends will ever notice this, but the expressions in photo mode will not affect your character's mouth if they have a mask on. This sounds like it would be perfectly fine, but not every mask will cover your character's face. In addition to this, the emote button of double tapping L3 is no more. I'm sure there are many people who played Code Vein 1 without ever discovering this button, but I loved using it right before defeating bosses. Overall, I'm really enjoying this game and cannot wait to make a build video and have that out next Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to The Jersey Side, as we post here every single Friday. Let me know if you're planning on picking this game up for yourself or what you think of it so far, as there will be more Code Vein 2 to come.